Welcome back, everyone. The Vitality Check podcast
You're
with
back.
Dr. Sean Landry and Kevin Long.
Thank you for having me today. Okay.
Again, we are back. Jasonless again.
Yep, that's okay.
It's all right.
That's all right. Jay, we got this.
He's busy.
Yeah, he's busy. We can carry the team, Jay. We have been for years anyway. So
Back at her. So sorry.
yeah, and well, let's just hope you get done what you need to get done.
Yeah, it must have been super important.
So important, right? To just not tell us like that.
Yeah, just, oh, by the way,
By the way,
the Mondays when
yeah,
we do the podcast all the time?
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, I have something.
Yeah, I got something more important, obviously. Right.
Yeah,
It's gotta be.
yeah, for sure.
Anyways, well, we're diving into Jay's favorite topic, right?
Well, he's
Yeah,
going to be so mad he's not here
I
talking
know.
about energy systems and
Yeah,
in the
crying.
body,
Yeah,
He
well,
probably would have broke them.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's probably we just saved them a
It'd be
bunch
hard.
of
Be
anxiety.
hard to share personal experience. Yeah.
It would have been a very uncomfortable sharing circle.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? Hey,
What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? So,
We miss you, Jay.
yeah, we do. We're
Yeah.
just bugging you.
So today we're talking about this is actually a fun topic. This is a big topic. So we're gonna
Dabble in it.
dip the toes in it today.
Sure.
If for more on this, actually, today this will be after this, but you can tune in bi-monthly with Kevin and sometimes Kat, right? Kevin and
So, yeah,
Kat.
cats are there sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin and Kat, they have their Monday night meditations
Hmm.
where they cover a lot of these topics, and but today we're going to focus on the energy systems, the chakras of the body,
Hmm.
the different um, the different energy systems. We're gonna focus on one today, or in particular.
Yeah, we'll give a bit of an example and also maybe some basic technique on how you can balance that more and how do you know you're not balanced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the theme is very similar to what if you've ever worked with us before in the clinic, right? I guess it's funny, right? The I guess the pun in all this is quote unquote balance, right? So like,
Yep.
whether you're seeing me or Kevin or Antonio or physiotherapists, we're trying to balance the body, right? So,
Hmm.
and there are different entry points, and scopes of practice per se, but the goal is the same.
Yep.
We're trying to allow the space for the body to innately resume, I guess,
It's natural balance.
its natural balance, right?
Hmm.
And balance is funny because the word balance is constantly shifting, right?
Right.
Like balance is different depending on the season of life you're in and
Yep.
the state you're in and your goals and objectives, your awareness, right? So balance is really kind of funny because it changes. Like you're trying to hit a point that really doesn't exist, I guess, if we think about it.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's funny the way I usually look at it is like it's as if that balance is always innately there.
Yeah.
It's just we get in the way of it.
Yeah.
It's like either we're in excess of something, either emotionally and or psychologically and or physically, and all these different things can have an impact on us and where how balanced we are in terms of the functioning of the body and the energy systems of the body. So it's like traditionally they'd say that there are seven uh, main energy centers in the body that are often called chakras. So
This
these
is looking at the Vedic system,
yeah,
right? Like the Ayurvedic
yeah,
system, but the overlap is insane when you compare
for
all the
sure.
different healing arts, right? And
Yeah,
and, and even with allopathic, right? The parasympathetic and
yeah.
the sympathetic, right?
So they're everything is frequency. Like we're bathing in this on a regular basis, and these energy centers are basically the interaction between that unified field and us. And quite often, what can happen is depending on which energy system is stuck, you can start having symptoms
Yeah.
related to that
Problems.
to
Yeah.
that symptom. So like, you'll have uh, quite often in terms of like having
So yeah, so let's go over the
Have
chakras or
all
the
of them.
energy
Yep.
systems,
Sure.
just so they understand them, right? So it starts if we start at the base,
Yep.
right? We have so the seven chakras, right? The functional breakdown would be the root chakra,
Yep.
right? The root, and then we go above that into the sacral chakra.
Yep.
And again, these are we call them energy centers because they represent um, different
Point
physiological processes,
locations.
locations in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
body, emotional
Yeah.
processes, as Kevin said, frequencies.
So
Each builds on the next,
that's right.
actually. And if you dive into it, they're actually usually in 7 year periods, right?
Hmm.
So each developmental period for each energy center and or chakra is happening, they're happening simultaneously, but each foundational principle is happening on top of the next one, right? So the root, we said the root, the sacral,
Yeah. So the root would be like right at the base,
the
like you're sit
base.
where you're sitting,
Yeah, the
So that
root.
would be the sacral one, usually associated with the color red.
Yeah, the root. Yeah,
Yeah.
not the sacral, because that's the next one.
The root.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we think of it at the base of the sacrum, actually, right? The sits bones, it's right in front of
Yeah.
the root, like think rooting down into the ground, and we'll go through these
Yeah.
a
Right
bit.
at the peritoneum.
There you go.
Yeah. Right. So like uh, the base of your pelvis, right?
Base of the pelvis. I
Yeah.
like it. So then we have the sacral chakra.
Yep.
And what
So
color? What do we got?
so we got orange there, but it's basically right in front of the sacrum, so a little bit higher, like below the belly button,
Hmm.
right in that area there. Um, and so apparently that is associated to a lot of like creativity and flow and everything else too. Is whereas when you compare it to the base one, if you look at the base
Yeah, they're
chakra, you're looking at more like things about primal things, like more like survival and
yeah.
grounding, feeling safe.
Say family, right?
Yeah.
Family roots, think grounding. Yeah.
So, which is funny because that's where like the bladder is.
Hmm.
So in German medicine, we always talk about how the bladder is territorial, so you're marking your territory. So
Hmm.
that's that base, whereas sacral gets more into the colon and the lower digestive tract
Yeah.
and um,
Energy, libido,
your
energy for life,
reproductive
not just
system.
yeah, but
Yeah.
not just reproductive, right? It's energy for life. It's like
Yep.
create. You said it, creativity, right?
Yep.
Um, flow states and rhythm.
Yeah.
And then above that, we have the solar plexus.
Yep.
So
So solar plexus is a lot to do with like your identity, your willpower, things like that. So it's like more organ related is like liver, pancreas, and all those types of digestion.
color would be
The color
yellow.
there is yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, yellow.
So we got red, orange, yellow, and
As
then
you're gonna see, it's pretty much the Roy G. Biv, right? The colors of the
yeah.
rainbow. Above the solar, we have the heart.
So yeah, so the solar plexus too is a lot of to do with like self-esteem, confidence, things like that. So it's funny, like you see like posturally sometimes see how people hold them.
Closed, fold, right?
So you
Open.
notice teenagers will kind of like recoil on themselves. Like a lot of that is them hiding who they are, or just am I going to be accepted? Those types of things.
Yeah, psychological development themes, right?
Yeah.
So, and these are happening again. It's you can see, as I said, seven. I think it's seven, maybe
Hmm.
7 to 9, or whatever I've read before. But these themes, so family, security, root, right? When you're a kid, you're being taken care and
Hmm.
again by the family structure, right? And structural, right? Root, support. And then they go into, the developmental years, right? That's where the sacral
Hmm.
plexus and then like you say, it goes into the solar plexus. That's when you start venturing out more on your own. So you said self-esteem
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
confidence. And then we get into the heart, right? The heart was the center, right, of the
Sure. Like the
of
center
the
balance point.
seven chakras, right?
Yep. Yeah, they all affect each other, obviously. It's not just individual systems.
No, yeah.
They all affect each other. The lower three are usually related to like past trauma, all the, like you said, the developmental
Development
stressors
years.
that we go through and all these things that develop our sense of what the world is, and how we perceive it. Uh, and ultimately, the heart chakra is that middle center point of the body. a lot of like emphasis is put on bringing yourself back into that center in order to bring yourself more into alignment. So
There we go. Accessing above or below, right?
that's right.
Accessing, harmonizing,
Yeah.
the energy centers, right? So
So we're looking
green,
green,
right?
color
Green,
green. Yeah. So it's more that what you think the heart is, so connection, love, all those types of,
gratitude, right?
yeah. So
Gratefulness, grace. That's heart, right?
heart and lungs,
Yeah, and then we go into above the heart, we have the throat, right?
throat chakra. Yeah. So throat chakra is blue. So now we're moving into more of the blue color.
There you go.
Um,
Communication,
yeah. So big
the
one.
voice, right?
Speaking your truth is a big one. So it's
Speak,
not, some people can be very vocal, but they're not speaking necessarily their truth. So they could technically,
develop problems, right?
but potentially they're to like physiologically, you're looking at thyroid, vocal cords, all these types of things that are related to that center. So
Mm-hmm.
having clear expression, being able to express your ideas
I
and
like
things like
that.
that.
Expression,
Yeah.
expressing who you are, who you're meant to be, right?
Yeah.
Not who someone else thinks you should be,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's
But,
coming from the wrong place. A
mm-hmm.
bit more in the mind, right?
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the color blue, right? So as we move up these energy systems, um, and it's fun because again, you'll see the theme, like we talk about these themes with just the way the individual develops over time, right? So I remember reading, maybe I heard this on a podcast, but you'll see a lot of society and culture is delaying the development of these things. So let's talk about young men, for example, like failure to launch, right? They're not actually getting out there and meeting these. The development phases are longer due now to culture, and things are delayed, right? So it's an interesting view of how it used to be, right, to
Mm-hmm.
where we've gone now, and we've kind of delayed the 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 energy systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all, so like again, as we mentioned, in things can be in excess or things can be deficient, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah. So
might be
it's,
stuck in one, and there might be too much of one
yeah.
versus the other. Again, that quote unquote word we use, balance, right?
Like the self-esteem one, like for example, like you, so in excess, you'd be, maybe it could come off as being more arrogant, as
Yes.
opposed to the opposite of where you seem indeficient, you
In
would be like very
reserve, shy,
shy, but not confident in
not
yourself,
confidence.
so
Yeah.
like overconfidence versus confidence,
Yeah.
is a huge thing.
It's always a good question, is it like, so excess or deficient? It'd be like, because everything is context,
Hmm.
in situations. So it's always the asking that question, am I within the kind of parameters of
Hmm.
where I should be, or am I more, in certain situations? Am I less in certain situations? And then,
Right.
just being, again, we come back to this word often, but being aware of yourself,
How
um,
your, what your behavior is,
what
yeah,
your
for
behavior
sure.
is and your reactions to things, and
Yeah.
just being kind of, true to yourself,
Because,
wherever you are, right?
like, for example, like the confidence thing is like most confident people don't boast about anything.
Yeah,
Like
they don't
they
have the
don't
need
feel the
to
need to
have someone else.
say what they've accomplished and say what, right.
Yeah, the sense of being is theirs and theirs
Hmm.
alone. They don't build, or they're it's not like they're trying to have someone else pump up their tires, right? They
Correct.
don't need someone else to pump up their
Yeah.
tires. I guess that's the way you can look at it, right?
Yep.
Whereas,
Yeah.
you're happy and confident, you're okay with being
Yeah.
who you are,
Sure.
what you've done.
Less importance to what others are thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. All right, above the throat, we have the
So third eye is the indigo color. This is more your intuition.
mhm.
So I can remember when first learning about this and doing some meditations on what is the pineal gland is
Yeah,
in that center, right? The brain, the pineal gland, um, which is a very intuitive center. So when you bring your focus there and doing meditation in particular, there were certain ones that were targeting that particular area, and man, it was pretty cool what you experience when you bring your focus somewhere and really calm yourself down into that space. Like there were it was like a pulsation was happening in the forehead that was pretty wild.
So you said insight, clarity,
Yep,
intuition, right?
intuition.
Being just knowing when something is, it's like your bullshit meter, right?
Yeah,
You're knowing when you're being true to yourself, or knowing, or being able to know when someone's being true to you as well,
yeah. It's
right?
like this knowing, like
Knowing, right?
without, oh, I don't understand why I knew. I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Now
Uh,
that can be, right, that could be a negatively framed as well, right?
yeah.
So like, you could, depends on the context and the spin, right?
Hmm.
So um very, very, very cool. All this stuff is so cool, and we're just lightly scratching the surface. I mean, we'll in future podcasts do a deep dive into each of these, because each one in
Sure.
and of itself, as we said, they're always constantly flowing and happening
Hmm.
right at the same time, but the themes will happen over time as you evolve in life, right? So like, you just look at intuition, right? That's something that's, kids probably are very intuitive,
Oh yeah.
right?
Then they get,
Deconditioned or
the
conditioned by
condition.
life,
Yeah.
right? By
Yeah.
their environment, right?
Yeah. They don't
The
trust
internal, the
what
external.
they were feeling.
Exactly. So they'll,
So you,
and then you rediscover it again, right?
yeah,
In later in life, right? As you move
hopefully.
on, hopefully,
Yeah,
right?
hopefully. Because what happens if you're in excess there is
La La Land, dreamland the whole
you
time.
would be, and then you get the opposite, which is like you're overthinking all the time. You're in your mental state all the time. So it's like that third eye is blocked. Like it's
Hmm.
not allowing you to have the clarity that you would normally have.
With decisions, right? So
Yeah.
indecision and
Hmm.
whatnot. Um, so when we think of that, right, what do we think of for organs? Yeah, brain, pineal gland. We spoke about
Hmm.
that. Okay.
Yep.
And then we're coming up to
Then we have the crown
the
chakra,
crown
which is
chakra, right?
right, just above the head.
Hmm.
So they say that is like, violet color, connect the connection to the divine. So consciousness stems through there. So again, you can experience a lot of the feeling of these by bringing your focus to each one. Like it's like the
I think that's essentially what we wanted to come to today, was exactly like, how do you kind of,
well, yeah.
we'll give an
So
example of how you tap into it, right?
how would you feel them, number one? So a lot of
Yeah.
people can experience, they don't even know that they're experiencing this, is you can feel like at certain centers, maybe heat or
Hmm.
sometimes cold. You could feel like vibration happening sometimes. Oh, that's weird that it's buzzing here all the time.
Yeah.
Or you get a sense of like deficiency somewhere because you have chronic digestive problems, or you have chronic respiratory issues, or you have um, chronic bladder infections. What is it about each center?
Jason, chronic diarrhea. No, I'm just kidding.
Could be that.
That's the real reason he's not here today,
Yeah,
right?
he just couldn't sit. So, so yeah,
All jokes aside.
so yeah, so one
So
way
the
you,
physical
yeah,
manifestations, right? So of either being in excess or deficient in
yeah,
either of these energy centers, you can experience, you might be experiencing something related to, like we say, the visceral organs,
hmm,
the glands, the
structure,
structural system,
hmm,
and again, becoming aware of, where am I at, what's going on with my body,
mm,
what am I feeling, from an emotional standpoint, a mental
yeah,
standpoint, a physical standpoint. And then, you can tap into these energy
yeah.
centers, right? So,
Like a good place to start. So you can do this for each of the energy centers. Like if you were to get used to doing a body scan, like is you can go through each one, bringing your awareness into each location, and feeling what's happening there. But this takes a bit of practice of one doing the basic thing of calming yourself down, maybe being in a place where you're not going to be interrupted, and then doing some very relaxed breathing. A good place to start is actually the heart,
mhm.
because to bring yourself into that space allows access to the other ones a lot easier. You get yourself out of your mental state a little bit. So,
We talk about this often, but what's your go-to yeah, heart fill technique, I think you call
well,
it,
the
right?
heart centered
Heart
technique is a
center, yeah.
super effective, quick, easy way to bring yourself there. So, you would again sit or lie, and you're just slowing your breath down, doing nice, easy breaths to slow your respiratory rate a bit, allowing the nervous system to start to calm down so that, brain activity will go from beta to alpha as you calm yourself. And then the more calm and rested you are, that you can potentially fall into theta and beyond. The idea in with the heart center technique is to, once you've calmed yourself, is just to think of something that really makes you happy. So thinking of this particular event or person, or it could be a place, that you've been that you really felt amazing at, or in that location, and just remembering what that felt like. And the more you focus on that feeling inside your chest, the more volume and its area it starts to take up, as if this feeling is getting bigger and bigger and taking up more and more space inside the rib cage, down through the abdomen, all the way through your legs and into your feet. So it's almost like you're filling yourself with this feeling. So it's like a visualization technique.
And then allowing it to pour everywhere throughout your
Yeah,
body. Right?
exactly.
That's right.
Or and then even beyond, you can go into the room. So this is a
I think that's why I
very
kind of called it the fill heart fill technique. From I remember we've done these
right.
meditation, but you're filling your heart up
Yeah,
with that love, right?
yeah,
That feeling,
lining it.
and then allowing it to pour out,
Yeah,
like you say, into the
that's right.
everyone, every being, every place,
Yep.
you can just spread that, your love from the heart that you've just filled up into,
So, so that's a pretty basic one that you can do to get yourself out of the mental state into the back into the body, which then you can now you can have fun with trying to get a sense of, like, okay, what does it feel like at the base of the pelvis? Okay, and it's just trying to bring your awareness there. So, and then working your way up and seeing if there's any differences. Do you feel anything different? If you did feel like, oh, like there's a lot of tension in this area, let's say the solar plexus or the heart or anything else,
or the throat, or yeah.
any of one of these centers, like an easy technique for that to rebalance is actually in that calm state, bringing your awareness there.
Mm.
Okay, not so much focusing on, oh, why is it tight? What's going on? It's more about just bringing your breath there, almost like we tend to give people this exercise where they'd envision something, this source of light, let's say, in front of them.
Yeah.
Right. And as you breathe in, that light would come into that center. And as you breathe out, you're sending back out all the tension and
Mm-hmm.
resistance that you feel in that area, so that it can be changed back
To the nice light.
into light to breathe it back in. So you're
So do
creating
you,
this exchange.
I love it. And then if you added the color, like, so
Awesome. Yeah.
if you attach yourself, uh, or if you allow yourself the awareness of, again, where potentially something is off, or the tension lies, or the vibration or the frequency. And then, so let's say if you're in the heart chakra, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you use this heart fill technique. So if you take that above and beyond, it would be the exchange between green light out in front of you, if
Correct.
I'm getting this correct, right? And
Yeah.
I've done this in the past as well. And so as you're breathing in or feeling that green energy come into your heart center,
Mm-hmm.
and recycling, letting go of the, potentially the bad, or the frustrated feeling you might have, or the, closed in feeling around your heart, you're allowing that to go out, and exchange for the nice green energy and come back in. I love that. That's a great,
Yeah, it's like an alchemizing
yeah,
technique, So that's a great way to just simply bring, and you'll notice pretty quickly how it starts to change the feeling in that area.
yeah.
And sometimes what can happen is you can feel that there's a lot of resistance there.
Yeah.
So say it can take a bit of work to get comfortable, to feel like safe and secure
What's an
in what
example
you're
of,
doing.
if so this would be good for our listeners. What's an example of like that resistance? So I kind of said that closed, frustrated feeling,
Mhm.
what are some other feelings of resistance that someone might experience, or that they should be aware of or
Well, they can feel it physically. They can
physically?
feel resistance, like as if there's a knot, a ball
I
in that
like that.
area, like something really rigid
Okay.
is there that you can't soften.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't mean that you're doing it badly. It doesn't mean that that you're doing something wrong. It just means that there's probably a blockage in that area that needs a little bit more time to work on. The
Hmm.
more focus you bring there and more attention to calming that area, quite often what comes with that is clarity on what that is.
Yeah.
So it's
So you
pretty
might,
neat. The
so it
body
might,
tells you.
you might have insight into what is kind of what has the hold on that
Yeah.
part of the body, right?
Yeah. What part of how I see
Yeah.
things is creating this?
I like it.
Yeah.
I always use the idea, I always use the theme sometimes when we're talking with patients, when we talk about, because people can feel the physical, you put your
Hmm.
hands on them and they might feel tense or tight or muscular or rigid, and I joke, being hardened by life, right? So,
Yeah.
now that could mean anything, right? That could be the bumps, the bruises along the way,
Yep.
posturally, athletically, motor vehicle accident. It could mean carrying the weight of your world, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally, but you can feel that the body kind of stores and hardens over time, right? You can see the way people move and then you can see other people who again move beautifully
Yeah.
with the years, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like
Well,
yeah.
there's an interesting analogy of that too, of fruit ripening, like
Mm-hmm.
so we go from like that hard sensation that we feel somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean necessarily that you might be very open to working on something like that, but sometimes time is required in order to allow that to ripen to be at the right time when
You
you're
can deal
actually
with
ready
it.
to deal with it,
Yeah.
right? And then what usually happens is then there can be a feeling, an emotional feeling that comes to surface from you bringing your focus on that particular area, breathing through that area. You start to feel like, oh, that's weird. Why am I feeling, either sad or angry or whatever it is? And then again, it can be more specific as you get more, allow yourself to go through that feeling. These are just unprocessed emotions that are stuck in the matter, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
more you work on these things, the more they can start to surface and that you can actually deal with them and not have them housed in your body.
Perfect. I like
Yeah.
it. I think that's a good, like I say, dipping our toes into this idea of
Yeah.
energy centers. So bringing it back, kind of, I guess the analogy would be would understand, I guess, in today's modern language, because a lot of people, we talk about the parasympathetic nervous
Hmm.
system and vagal tone, right? Vagal tone is a really popular word right
Hmm.
now. So essentially, that's what you're trying to do, and you're trying to balance these energy centers. You're trying to align the body, the nervous system, um, promote balance and innate wisdom in order to heal and be healthy, right?
Yeah.
The right environment for the body to do what it does naturally. Um, but in order to do that, you have to connect to it, right? You have to
Yeah.
be aware of it. You have to take time to allow that process to happen
Yeah.
because of our modern lifestyle,
Yeah.
So hope that helps. It's really fascinating that, I always joke, what's old is new again. So that these, this awareness of these chakra systems has been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yep.
But you can see the parallels that each of these chakras, each of these energy systems has within our lives and our development, right? So it's fun to see the comparisons
Yeah.
and to understand them a little better, so that you can just tap into them and reconnect with them and just kind of help you within your day to day, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll be back with more of the energy centers and chakras, but that's a great exercise we can all use to help balance and and yeah, powerful tool that you can use.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a wonderful week, everyone. We'll
Very
see you
good.
back.
Ciao.